Welcome. Bonjour, Shkode Bishki, Zongade Bibamo Benesse, Mayangandotem, Pegwissandunji. My given name is Todd Matthew Shadware, and I'm thanking you all for partaking in today's lesson, Sharing Circle Etiquette, within the spirit of interconnectedness. As you can see, the first slide depicts the table of contents. So a little bit of what we're going to go over with regards to the sharing circle and the etiquette associated with these types of settings are much of what was read in the table of contents. Moving forward, I would just like to point out some of the key areas that, have been shared with myself, and also some of the things that I've learned on my own. I just hope you appreciate that. Thank you for listening. So usually in the beginning, what you'll see in the center here is some red cloth laid out, and it's said by a man by the name of Don Coyhis that this cloth is laid out in the nature to symbolize the universe. And then on top of this red cloth, what there will be sometimes not, depending on who is facilitating or conducting the talking circle or sharing circle, you will see some 4 directions cloth. These 4 directions cloth remind us, that we recognize the 4 nations of all people, and also how those 4 cloths really tell the story and how we are all welcome here within this circle. So what you'll see is oftentimes, not all the time, the yellow cloth in the eastern direction, which will symbolize and acknowledge the yellow nation. Then you will see the red cloth situated in the south for the red nation. Onto the blue or black, sometimes it's black or blue, in the western direction, which will acknowledge that of the black nation. And in the north, which you'll see, is the white cloth there, in honor of that white nation. Keeping on here with our second point to draw our attention to is the question, why do we smudge? We see this bowl here in the center here, and I know some are left with that question. Why? Why do we smudge? So, much like what I said before with respect to Don, who is an elder in the community, what is shared with by Don is we use the sage leaves because it is a reminder that every plant on Mother Earth has a purpose. The sage medicine will create a calming effect. So really, in a sense, what that medicine is doing is fulfilling its purpose. Sage medicine is a calming medicine. Another key point that we could gravitate to or come to know is that shell, abalone shell in the center is also significant, that to which of Mother Earth's womb, or our mother's womb, and thus signifying where we come from. The sacred circle. The sacred circle is a gift from the Creator. One complete circle is an acknowledgement of all nations or energies. Energies do not work in lines, they work in circles. We start at the end, and at the end in the beginning. Our lives from beginning to end resemble a complete circle. No matter how big or small the circle is, it ends in the same way for everyone. And thus highlighting that we are all equal. And at this time, I encourage everyone to take some time for themselves to maybe reflect, get up, stretch your legs, go for some fresh air, maybe a glass of water. Enjoy your break. Welcome back from your break. I hope you had a good break. So getting on with today's lesson, sharing circle etiquette. So much like before, these things that are highlighted, there's some specific things that are in great need of acknowledgement. And these are special things that come along with this circle, and the gifts that are shared within those circles. Gifts from the circle. So when we look at that circle and we partake in that circle, the first gift given from the circle will be the sense of belonging. Belongingness is the human emotional need to be accepted. People tend to have an inherent desire to belong. Another gift from this circle is the gift of trust. Trust in part based on the extent to which we are able to create positive relationships. Heart and mind. So when we smudge, or when we do this cleansing ceremony with the sage medicine, and how it creates that calmness within us, much like the other teachings that Don shares that this medicine will not only create that calm, but it'll also further assist us with connecting our heart with our mind. The calmness you feel when you do those smudging assists us in connecting the mind to the heart. A little quote here. The elders say, "The journey from the mind to the heart will be the longest journey for us to travel in our seasons on Mother Earth." This one's titled Feather. and it really depicts, that item we use to conduct these circles, the item that we pass around. Sometimes it may be a stone, sometimes it may be a talking stick, but for this slide, it's highlighting the feather, and I'll just go on with a little story about the mouse and the eagle. So that mouse, he's down there on the ground, and he has his own point of view. His views may be limited when you think in contrast to what an eagle sees. So that feather, when we carry that feather, let it remind us that it is to remind us of the many points of view in life. And also to be mindful that if we are not mindful of other points of view, we will be stuck always seeing only one point of view. I like the story that Don shares. I believe what I can do is share that link to you, or the link to his YouTube channel if you are interested. So this is pretty chunky. I when I looked at the slide, I felt, especially when you look at that word, protocol, and like how we're going to look over that kind of stuff. I looked at the 10 points that are there, including introductions, and I thought it's quite a bit, but I think it's very important to go over. So I think I'll just go over that in a timely manner. So the first one is for those that have retrieved their names, their clan, can share their spirit name, clan, or their given name. Sometimes we'll share where we are from. You see this more and more nowadays is us sharing our pronouns in acknowledgement of the LGBTQ community and in respect of everyone's individuality. And this is all done if you feel comfortable doing this. So the second one would be something that's quite obvious or common sense kind of stuff, is no crosstalk. So when that feather is passed, that one who has the feather is the one who's to be speaking, and we are all to be listening, which will in turn come with the teaching of respect. Number 3, silence your cell phones. You fathers or parents, ones that have important phone calls that may take place, I encourage you to silence them or put them on vibrate. But ultimately, if you cannot turn them off, that's fine. Maybe you could just let us know beforehand. Thank you. Explain the purpose of the talking items. So we touched on a little bit of the feather, the stone, or the talking stick. In nature, the nature of this is to basically, just give people the gist of what's going to happen before it happens, so that we're conducting our circles, our talking circles in a good manner. Number 5, something here that's already been kind of shared about in the previous slides is a little bit about the medicines. Some may use different medicines like sage or cedar or sweetgrass. And with those medicines, what they share will be those times when we can learn a little bit more about those other ones. Number 6, highlight the topic of the day. So Today's topic is sharing etiquette in the spirit of interconnectedness. Seven is a big one. It's very important, and I think this really comes along with that teaching of trust that comes, or the gift of trust that comes with these circles is, who you see here, what you hear here, what is shared here stays here. This is something that will be done in the beginning and then before the circle is completed. Number 8, sometimes we may not be ready to speak in a sharing circle or talking circle, and that's perfectly fine. It is not asked that you have to share. While we are not always ready to share, we always should be willing to listen. Great teaching. Number 9, traditionally people stay in the circle until everyone has had a chance to speak, or when the leader ends the gathering. When we sit in a circle, let it remind us that we are all equal. No one is ahead of you or behind you. It will also highlight how we are all interconnected and that all nations are welcome here. And that will conclude today's lesson concerning sharing circle etiquette. Thank you so much for your time that you shared with us today. Have a wonderful day.